Welcome to Inside the Program, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. I'm Joe Cook. That's Eric Naleen. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so yet, go to that first link in our description. Sign up for Inside Texas for just $1. Join the best Texas Longhorns community. Get the best Texas Longhorns intel and get everything Texas Longhorns over at Inside Texas for just $1. That QR code right by Arch's face, go ahead and scan that. That'll get you joined to or that'll get you to the sign up link over on Inside Texas. Can't wait to see everybody there. So, Eric, today you posted some intel on the Longhorns as they get ready for Mississippi State. We'll go over some of the big pieces of information from that, including some information on Michael Taaffe after his surgery, time for depth at safety to step up, the latest on the Longhorn running backs, and emphasizing a fast start, something the coaches talked a lot about this week. So let's go to the big one. Michael Taaffe, surgery. News came out earlier this week that he had surgery on his right hand. What's some of the latest info on Taaffe, and how big of a loss is that for Texas this week as they wait for him to come back?
I mean, first of all, I think it's a big loss just because that guy seems to set the tone in pretty much every game. You know, he's coming up from the post and dropping hits. You know, he's physical, he's smart. You know, he adds so much to that defense. It is a loss, even if talented guys behind him are ready to play. It's a loss just because he's such a leader. The word is he'll be back for Georgia. He's going to have the benefit of a bye week after Vanderbilt. However, just knowing the way that guy's wired, I would not be surprised to see him play against Vanderbilt. You got to remember that's going to be the first game back for Texas in well over a month. It's hard for me to see him on the sidelines in that game, but I don't know. Don't want to apply pressure to him. He's got the doctor's got his orders in. He's got to follow that for the long-term well-being. But Georgia, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if he's back for Vanderbilt. In his place, obviously, Derek Williams. We haven't seen a lot of Derek Williams this season coming back from injury. He's a much better player than he was in August, just health-wise. That's empirical as far as what he's able to do in the weight room. He's just much further along in his recovery than he was in the offseason. So I think he's going to play well. Obviously, that guy covers a lot of ground. He's a smart player too, right? You can't compare everybody to Michael Taaffe, but he is a smart player himself. Jelani's a smart player. Those guys, I think, are going to be in a pretty good spot, all things considered. You'd love to have Taaffe, but if you don't have him, might as well have a guy like Derek Williams who's played a lot of football and is much further along his recovery than he was a month ago. And then also Xavier Filsaime, a bit banged up, but he's ready to go as well.
You mentioned something when we talked earlier today on the roundtable about football IQ with Xavier Filsaime, and we've seen that with Derek Williams, whether it was starting some games his true freshman season, starting ahead of Andrew Makuba until Williams was injured, and then Makuba continued his standout season. We've seen his IQ on display. Filsaime, that was always one of the things that there was a little bit of a question about. He had this great athleticism, but could he see what was happening on the field? And for you mentioned that Sark mentioning that football IQ. Just to reiterate from earlier, that was that's some good news that you wanted to hear.
Yeah, that told me that more about his maturation had to do more with technique. You got to match your coverage to your technique. Backpedal, a lot of different things, matching your eyes and all that stuff. It's something that you have to learn. He was late to safety. He didn't play safety until his junior year of high school. He's a little bit behind the curve when he got to Texas. Hearing Sark talk about his football IQ I'd never heard anything negative about his football IQ, to be honest. I want to be clear about that. But that was the first time I really heard somebody say, all right, he's got really good football IQ. And, I think the way he won Sark over in that regard was his ability to play star. He moved to star for the OU game. He'd been playing there recently. That was going to be his position for the rest of this year had Taaffe not gotten hurt. So I think he won over Sark in that regard. He's a very, very athletic person. That goes without saying. He's the fastest defensive back they have. Yeah, he might be the second fastest guy on the team, honestly. But to hear that he has the IQ, that's a good thing. That's something that we might have missed in the evaluation. I think he's winning over Sark with his ability to play multiple positions, and then obviously the technique is coming into form. He looks like a surefire starter next year as they look to replace two starters.
The one thing about Taaffe that we think about so much is why they call the position safety is you're that last line of defense.
Yeah.
And Taaffe has been a fantastic tackler. So is Jelani McDonald as well. But with this wide splits offense, if
Mhm.
even if they're doing the middle of the field close with Taff in the middle playing the post, like
Yeah.
there's only so far he can get on those deep routes. So this is going to be a big game not only for Texas corners but also the safeties and run
Well,
coverage.
they
Will they be able to make those tackles at the second and third level that Taff has been able to do so often over the course of this season, especially with different looking boxes?
Yeah, I mean, we love Taft's intelligence, obviously, but the post is somewhat protected in this defense. Like they feel like they could put Jonah Williams back there and he would be okay just because of the supporting players around him. So I'm not really worried in that regard. But you're right. I mean, he's Tasmanian devil when he comes down to fill in run support. He just sees the game at a very high level. You can't really replace it. It is a loss, but you feel better about it just because you do have somebody like Derek Williams he's a starter too, right? They have so many guys that are starters on defense without even being starters. Derek is one of them. Losing Taaffe is a thing, especially this week, right? Nobody wants to see Brennan Thompson running verticals, but that's going to be more on the corner than it is on the safety, to your point.
Before we keep going, got to show some love to our sponsor, and that is Academy Sports and Outdoors. Academy Sports and Outdoors proudly honors our brave military and first responders for everything you do to protect our nation and serve our local communities. We appreciate your unmatched dedication and countless sacrifices. And from October 19th through November 11th, Academy is giving you a salute with 10% off your sports and outdoors purchases at your local Academy store and online at academy.com/discount. Exclusions apply. Thank you to our military, our first responders, and thank you to Academy. We'll keep on going, talking a little bit about the Longhorn running backs. Some good news, it sounded like, on CJ Baxter. Our expectations are not super sky high with him, but
Yeah.
good to have him back as part of a running back room that's going to see a little bit of more action, it feels like, this week.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's 100% back, and even if he is, Are they going to block it? Is he going to have room? Mississippi State's probably going to have the best running back on the field, even if their starter isn't playing. So that's not great. But I think James Simon has been making some noise in practice. I think he's getting better every week. But the bottom line is Texas going to block it for him? Are they going to be able to get just average running back value out of the blocking scheme? That's going to be the big question this week. Now, having a lot of readers, and I'm sure viewers are thinking the same thing, that CJ Baxter does have value add as a pass protector, and that's definitely a real thing for sure. Trey Weisner right now is probably the only guy that they can truly trust picking up blockers or picking up blitzers. And this is a big week to do that. Mississippi State does like to zone blitz quite a bit. So that might be CJ Baxter's greatest utility this week, is picking up. If he makes one block and Arch hits a bomb, that could be the thing that decides the game, right? So having him back is good. I'm not sure that he's going to fire up the stat line with rushes.
He makes it so it's a little less telegraphy, where some of the younger running backs, either Clark or previously Gibson and James Simon, you kind of knew they weren't going to trust them a whole lot in pass protection. You also talked a little bit about with Ryan Niblett. Sark's been on and on praising
Mhm.
him over the
Yeah.
past couple of weeks, and we've seen him do so many great things on special teams. Texas social media even highlighted him. And
Yeah.
we've made some small complaints that, oh, if 21's on the field, well, we know where the ball's going, but maybe that looks a little different this week.
Well, I don't know if that's going to look different. What we do know is Sark loves the dude. We talked about it when he moved to DB, when he moved back to wide receiver, then back to running back, and whatever he is right now, running back, I guess. It's very clear that Sark just loves the guy, he values him, and you see the value add on special teams. There's a lot going on with Ryan Niblett right now. Hell, he might get one this week that could change the complexion of the game. They are trying to integrate him more into the offense. The problem with that is, if you see him on the field, you're like, all right, he's probably going to get he's either going to be a decoy or he's going to get the ball, right? So just keep your eyes on him, and he'll tell you what it's going to be. The more they get him involved in the offense, the less obvious it's going to be that what his usage is going to be, which is a bit of a paradox, but that's what they're aiming for. He is getting a lot more touches. Last week he got more touches in practice. This week even more. Sark put a target on him for get 3 or 5 touches a game within the flow of offense. And I wouldn't be surprised based on how much they're using him in practice to see him get a lot more involved. It's a guy that it might be. You might not get anything out of 2 or 3 carries, but you give him one increase, and that could change the game.
A lot more intel on that running back position over on Inside Texas. So again, make sure you go to that first link in our description before we get out of here, Eric, just kind of a macro thing. Texas has really this past week emphasized starting fast. They didn't have a good start against Florida. They had I'd say a decent start, at least on
Yeah.
defense against Oklahoma. They had to make a stand on defense against Kentucky. They wanted things to look a little bit different this week.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you could talk about a fast start, right? But it's built into the game plan. It's built into preparation. Preparation. It's it has to do with the entire week. How ready are you to play? How ready are you to go on the road and win another game on the road? They've been on the road for over a month. You could say have a fast start, but it's really baked into the preparation, the game plan, and of course execution. We all hate the word execution, but a lot of times that's what it boils down to. We've seen a lot of plays break down due to one missed block. Give Arch time, and he's probably going to make something happen. And so, the fast start is right. It's easy to say, and it's being emphasized, but it has to be emphasized in ways that are different than just stating the obvious. They have to have a good week of practice. They have to have a good game plan, and then they have to go out and execute it. Now, you can have the results of no points on the board last week from Kentucky's first drive. That's great, but they flipped the field. They put the offense in a bad spot. So that's what Sark's getting at. Start fast on offense, start fast on defense. Really, if they do that, probably everything else will fall into place. But there's so much more into it than just saying to your team, hey, go start fast, right? Okay, coach, we want to start fast. Are you ready to start fast? Let's see.
Go hit them in the mouth. Go and set the tone early. All that stuff.
That's a real thing. Set the tone. Seriously, that is. Go get off your go block some people, create some running lanes, run the scheme that you're probably best suited for, especially in this game. And I bet you the fast start will follow good execution and all the other good stuff.
We have a lot more info over on Inside Texas, so make sure you go to that first link in our description. Join Inside Texas for just $1. Get the best in Texas Longhorns recruiting, football coverage. Join the best community, and of course, you can also scan that QR code up there in the top left corner. That'll take you to that link. That'll get you the chance to sign up. We look forward to seeing everybody over there. So, Eric, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on Inside the Program, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors.